This video will show you how to replace your front sway bar link on the Subaru Outback. This is part of your front steering and suspension located behind your front wheel. Let's get into it. Okay friend, let's get started on our job. We'll remove all 5 of our 19mm lug nuts. If you have a locking lug nut, you're going to want to make sure you have that key. Since mine does have the locking lug nuts, I'm going to be using that first. We'll just turn this until it feels like it wants to seat. Once it does, go ahead and turn that counterclockwise to remove it. Let's start separating the upper sway bar link from our front strut. You can see the stud along the back side of the front strut here. Now for this, we like to try to remove any rust from the threaded portion first. I'm going to use some penetrant, and I'm also going to use a wire brush. Now we'll be using a 17mm for our mounting nut. Typically for this, to loosen the mounting nut, you're going to want to hold onto the stud. To do that, you'll be using a 6mm Allen head socket. Generally, I like to break the nut free, so I'm just going to use a 17mm. Once I get a little bit of movement here, I'm going to find that the stud will spin as well. At that point, we'll have to be using our 17mm and that 6mm socket. Now as you can tell, the nut did loosen, but only so far. Now obviously there isn't much room to turn this, so I'm only holding the mounting nut still. Now to loosen this, I'm going to be turning the stud clockwise, which will in turn turn the nut counterclockwise. There's that. Now we're going to repeat the exact same process on the lower portion of the front sway bar link. That's attached to our front sway bar. I have my wire brush and some penetrant. We'll use our 17mm to break this free. Remove your front sway bar link. There it is, friend. Now the next thing we'll do is make sure we clean and inspect our mounting areas. We have our front sway bar, and then we also have the front strut. Now it's time for installation of our brand new front sway bar link. A quick note about the front sway bar link, you want to pay attention to the shafted area. The upper portion has the straight shaft. Once you make your way down towards the bottom, we have the angle. Make sure you have this angled portion down along the bottom. We're taking that sway bar link, we have the angled portion down towards the front sway bar. Start on your mounting nut. For installation of our front sway bar link, I'm going to be using a 5mm Allen head to hold my sway bar link shaft. This is a tiny bit smaller than the original. 18mm for our mounting nut. Now the torque for this will be 44 foot-pounds. Now we can start attaching our front sway bar link to the front strut. When we get this in position, we're going to make sure we hold that stud and we'll tighten our mounting nut. Once we have it snug, the torque for that is 44 foot-pounds. Now we'll make our way along the rearward side for that hardware. Now I've got my wrench on the mounting nut. For this, since there's minimal area in between the front strut bracket to be able to turn the wrench, which would turn the nut, I'm going to be using my socket directly in the center on the shaft, and we'll be turning this counterclockwise, which will in turn turn the nut clockwise. The torque for this is the same as the bottom, 44 foot-pounds. One last inspection in this area and we can reinstall our wheel. Once you have that in place, you're going to continue on with all 5 of your 19mm lug nuts. If you do have a locking lug nut, you want to use that as well. We'll start them on, snug them up. Get the wheel back on the ground, and the torque for each of these will be 90 foot-pounds. Now we have the wheel back on the ground, so we're going to torque these to that 90 foot-pounds in a crisscross manner. Whenever you do these, you do them as a pair. The process will be the exact same thing on the other side of the vehicle. After that, go ahead and take your vehicle for a road test. Thanks for watching.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.